Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through complex source material to give you the absolute peak view.
Hey there.
Today, we are putting on our best tweed, maybe adjusting our metaphorical boat shoes, and examining the fiercely competitive, intensely pressurized world of elite American boarding schools.
Yeah.
Specifically, Tiffin Academy.
Yeah, Tiffin. We're looking at a narrative that, honestly, it operates on two completely contradictory tracks. It's kind of fascinating.
How so?
Well, the sources paint this picture that is, simultaneously glamorous, aspirational even, but also deeply disturbing. You've got this mix of institutional politics, these really intricate student and faculty social webs, and then this escalating series of, frankly, ethical breaches and pretty serious personal scandals.
Okay, so our mission today is to really pull apart those threads. We want to quickly extract the core conflicts, the surprising insights that define this environment. And the stakes, as you start reading, they couldn't feel higher. Tiffin Academy is starting this academic year under a really dark shadow. There was a student suicide the previous spring, Simone Bergeron. That grief is palpable. It's the undercurrent, the thing nobody really wants to talk about directly.
But here's the kicker. Here's the central paradox right out of the gate. While the community is, reeling from this trauma, trying to process it, the institution itself is immediately thrust into this blinding spotlight of unexpected national success. It's whiplash.
So how do you even begin to mourn a student when suddenly everyone, the media, rival schools, potential applicants, is watching your every move because you're officially, statistically, one of the best schools in the entire country?
Exactly. It's this impossible bind.
Okay, let's set the scene a bit more. Tiffin Academy. It's located in that rarefied air of New England prep schools. You know the type.
Yeah. Co-ed Episcopalian, founded way back in 1911 by Mary Tiffin Sinclair. It's more than just a school, right? It's an institution. Centuries old, built on tradition, and, let's be honest, massive endowments.
Huge endowments. And the architecture, it's designed to impress that upon you.
Totally. You've got the soaring perpendicular Gothic revival chapel. It's meant to make students feel, small, awed by history, maybe?
Right, the sense of place, of something bigger than yourself.
Then you have the more practical buildings, but still imposing. The restored Georgian brick schoolhouse and the manse, which is where the head of school lives. Audrey's place.
And there's a great little piece of trivia about their nickname, the Thoroughbreds. It's not just random branding.
No, it connects back to the land itself. Originally belonged to Edward Teddy Tiffin. He was a big deal in thoroughbred racehorse breeding back in the day.
So it applies this sense of pedigree, speed, high stakes.
Pretty fitting considering everything that goes down inside those ivy-covered walls.
Absolutely. But despite this glossy, perfectly manicured appearance, the head of school, Audrey Robinson, she is not feeling celebratory on move-in day.
No, not at all. The sources give us a direct line into her head. She describes the start of the academic year, not like a clean slate, but like an empty Google Doc, the cursor blinking.
Waiting for the mistake.
Exactly, waiting for the inevitable error. She's literally thinking, nothing bad has happened yet. Her baseline is just anticipatory anxiety, completely rooted in the tragedy of Simone Bergeron the year before.
And her focus is immediately shattered. Before classes even really get going, bam, bombshell text message.
From the most powerful man on campus, basically. Jesse Eastman. Everyone calls him Big East.
Big East. Sounds important.
Oh, he is. Massive donor, de facto president of the board. He's the one alerting her to the brand new America Today national rankings that just dropped.
Okay, so rankings, always a big deal in this world. Audrey's probably bracing for, what, top 20? Like 15?
Yeah, she's thinking typical results. You have to understand, their league, the Independent Schools of New England Coalition, it's like the Ivy League farm system for prep schools. They usually trail behind the absolute giants, like Old Bennington, North Meadow. Audrey thinks, maybe number 12, maybe 22. That would be solid. A good, acceptable win.
But that's not what the text says.
Not even close. It's an absolute institutional earthquake. Tiffin Academy is ranked number 2. In the entire country, right behind Old Bennington.
Number 2. Wow. Okay, so cue the wild celebrations. Champagne popping.
That's what you'd expect, right? But what's fascinating is the actual response, especially from the students. It's met with complete silence. Total silence, disbelief, skepticism even, to the students who know the messy, complicated reality of life at Tiffin.
Yeah.
This number 2 ranking feels wrong. inauthentic, like an undeserved win.
Yeah.
It throws into question whether those external metrics mean anything compared to their internal experience.
That's really interesting. So the ranking doesn't unify them. It almost alienates them.
In a way, yeah. And the institutional implications hit immediately, overwhelmingly. This #2 ranking is instantly branded the golden era. And it just raises the stakes for everything. Everything. We even see this immediate, almost frantic change in student behavior. Suddenly, shirts are tucked in. There are fewer minor disciplinary issues.
Like they instinctively know they have to perform competence now.
Exactly. Perform for the media, for the public gaze that's suddenly fixed on them.
And that spotlight, you have to assume, shines brightest on Audrey Robinson.
Directly on her. As the first woman and the first person of color to be head of school at Tiffin, her success is immediately politicized. We hear from Douglas Worth, the head of rival North Meadow.
Who the students apparently call worthless. Kids are brutal.
It was so brutal. And Worth, he suggests, pretty cynically, that maybe the ranking is tied to Audrey being a person of color, implying, some kind of DEI boost.
Oof.
Or maybe it's because of the massive international social media clout of one of Tiffin's star students, Davi Banerjee. So, right away, the success is tainted. Professional jealousy, suspicion, the idea that it's not real achievement, just a reflection of current cultural trends.
So no honeymoon period for Audrey. Just more pressure.
Yeah, Audrey's life basically becomes this continuous tightrope walk. She has to manage the expectation of success, that shiny new #2 ranking,
I keep the brand polished.
while also trying, desperately, to navigate the very real need for genuine, compassionate care after Cinnamon Peter's death, which happened literally on her watch. That phrase hangs over everything.
And she's struggling with that authenticity.
Totally. She's so focused on managing the external appearance that we learn she has pre-scripted answers ready. For any parent, any student who dares to ask about the suicide, it's all damage control.
Wow. And her ability to even stay in the job, the stability?
Yeah.
It seems like it hinges almost entirely on one person.
Big East. Jesse Eastman. Her relationship with him is everything. He's the money, the influence. He funded the restoration of her house, the manse. He hired the star chef.
The chef. We need to talk about the chef.
Oh, we do! But first, that relationship between Audrey and Big East. It's essentially a transactional pact. You could call it maybe integrity for infrastructure.
Ooh, I like that. Explain.
Audrey gets the resources, the prestige, the things Tiffin needs to maintain its status. Big East gets discretion. Especially regarding his son, Andrew Eastman, who we just call East, and certain behaviors that Big East enables or covers up.
Okay, so a deal with the devil, maybe,
Yeah.
or just the cost of doing business at this level.
Probably the latter, in her mind. Which brings us to one of Big East's most visible and initially successful acquisitions for the school. Harrison Has Flanders, the new chef.
Right. The guy who turned the food from memes to Michelin-worthy.
Basically, yeah. Has is described as this burly, tattooed culinary star poached from a fancy private club in New York. His arrival completely revolutionized the dining hall called the Paddock. Before him, the food was, and I quote, the subject of 1,000 memes.
I'll be there.
Now, it's legendary. Artisanal bread, burger night that rivals high-end steakhouses, authentic Pizza Friday Rustica. He's a campus hero.
But there's always a but at Tiffin, isn't there?
Yeah.
The gloss hides the rot.
Always. Haas wasn't exactly looking for a quiet gig serving focaccia to teenagers.
Yeah.
He was forced to take a, quote, leave of absence from his very high-end private club, the Dewberry,
Why?
because he'd used club funds a significant amount to pay off huge gambling debts.
Oh, boy.
Big East orchestrated the Tiffin job. It was a temporary fix, a place for Has to lie low until the scandal blew over back in New York. It's a pure transaction. Tiffin gets the celebrity chef and the amazing food.
And Big East gets control over a compromised guy who owes him big time.
You nailed it. And guess who else knows about this little arrangement?
Let me guess. Someone else in a position of power.
The only other person in the administration who's privy to the Has deal is Cordelia Spooner, the head of admissions. She's described as the absolute MVP of the staff, and right now she's working overtime, drowning in applications thanks to that #2 ranking.
Cordelia Spooner. Okay, and she's got her own secrets, I take it.
Oh, yeah. Cordelia is a fascinating case study in professional self-preservation. She meticulously maintains this very old-school, buttoned-up professional facade, uses the title Mrs. Spooner,
Okay.
and has completely invented a deceased husband. Died years ago of testicular cancer, supposedly.
Wait, she invented a dead husband. Why?
To keep questions about her personal life Specifically, her sexuality and unmarried status, completely off the table. The former head of school apparently viewed anything other than heterosexual marriage as unprofessional, maybe even threatening. So she fabricated an entire history to survive institutionally.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
And kind of terrifying.
It really is. And this commitment to image, to a certain kind of Tiffin look, extends directly into her actual job, into admissions.
How so? This sounds bad.
Highly controversial. Cordelia admits in the source material to occasionally checking applicant photos, often digging them up on social media.
Okay, for what?
To ensure they, quote, look like she'll fit in at Tiffin. And this isn't about standard diversity metrics. It's about physical conformity. She specifically screens out students with traits she deems unsuitable for the Tiffin brand.
Like what kind of treats?
Things like overbites, excessive paleness,
Yeah.
or, and this detail is wild, an unironic mullet.
An unironic mullet. She's rejecting kids based on their hairstyle.
Apparently. And she rationalizes this incredible level of gatekeeping by telling herself she's sparing these kids high school trauma, that they wouldn't survive the social pressures of Tiffin.
Wow. So much for meritocracy. The #2 school in the nation, and admissions might come down to your teeth or your haircut.
It fundamentally undermines the whole stated ideal, doesn't it?
Okay, let's pivot to the eye of the storm here. The students themselves, particularly the fifth formers, the juniors. They're the ones feeling the heat from the ranking, and obviously carrying the most immediate weight from Cinnamon's death the year before.
Right, and we get some really vivid archetypes. First up, Davi Banerjee. She is the ultimate queen bee.
The influencer.
The international influencer, yeah. 1.3 million followers, mostly promoting OOH, her parents' high-end fashion label. She's incredibly stylish, wealthy, projected perfection. But like everything at Tiffin.
It's a veneer.
Exactly. It's a carefully constructed veneer. We find out Davi is struggling, really struggling, with her parents' new relationship status. They've recently become polyamorous, introducing someone named Salem as their creative director.
Oh, wow. That's a lot for a teenager to process.
A lot. Add that loss of traditional family structure to the incredibly raw grief over Cinnamon's death. Davi was Cinnamon's best friend. She was the one who found her.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it's manifesting in an emerging eating disorder. Her intense external control, the brand, the followers, the perfect image, it's all compensating for this complete lack of control in her private life.
That's heartbreaking. Okay, who else is central to this class?
Then you've got Weber Dub, Austin. He's
Yeah.
kind of the counterpoint to Davi's inherited wealth. He's the 6'4" starting quarterback, big man on campus, but on a full athletic and need-based scholarship.
So the aspirational Tiffin kid,
Yeah,
the one who made it.
exactly. And he and Cinnamon Peters, they were the couple, described as friend of his heart, #couple goals. Apparently they dressed as Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift for Halloween. Peak high school romance.
Okay, so he's grieving too, obviously.
Deeply. But Dub's primary role in this whole narrative seems to be the keeper of the secret.
What is the secret?
Cinnamon sent him an email shortly before she died. It contained a file, and the subject line, or maybe the file name, was, "Do not open this file until the morning of our graduation."
Whoa! A time bomb?
Literally, a digital time capsule, a potential key to understanding why she died, what she was thinking, and Dub has held onto it religiously, hasn't opened it. It's this massive burden of delayed truth that he's carrying around every single day.
Man, the pressure on these kids. Okay, so we have the influencer, the jock, with a secret, who's at the top of the privilege pyramid.
That would be Andrew Eastman, son of Big East. He is described simply as the hottest and richest guy. And his father's influence basically grants him total institutional immunity.
How so? Like, what does that look like day to day?
He's the only student allowed to have a car on campus. He uses the service entrance to bypass security whenever he wants. His grades are barely passing, just scraping by. And he openly violates rules, vaping in public, that kind of thing. Stuff anyone else would get busted for immediately.
And Audrey, the head of school, she just lets it slack.
She's acutely aware of the double standard. The sources show her internally framing any attempt to discipline East as an existential threat to Tiffin's funding.
Wow.
His impunity isn't an accident. It's not an oversight. It's a conscious, calculated, necessary compromise to keep the money flowing, to keep the school running at this elite level.
That's incredibly bleak.
It is. And into this environment, high pressure, grief-stricken, ethically compromised steps Charley Hicks.
The new girl.
The replacement girl, really.
Yeah.
She arrives mid-year to fill the exact spot left empty by Cinnamon Peters in the fifth form girls' dorm. Room 111.
Oof. That's heavy symbolism right there.
Incredibly heavy. And Charley is brilliant. academically off the charts, top 1% near-perfect PSATs, named for the Bronte sisters, dreams of working and publishing at, like, Little, Brown, or Scribner.
Okay, so a brainiac. Does she fit in?
Not even remotely. She is described as painfully, almost deliberately awkward. Audrey apparently questions the admissions decision when she first sees her. Her dress style seems lifted straight from the 1984 official preppy handbook.
You're kidding, like actual whale belts.
Kelly green polo, whale embroidered belt, boat shoes, two neat little braids. It's not just awkwardness. It's like this defiant nonconformity that stands out like a sore thumb against the sleek, casual wealth of her classmates like Davi.
Is there a reason for this? Performance of awkwardness.
It seems tied to deep-seated trauma. Her father, an attorney, died suddenly the previous fall. Complications after a routine shoulder surgery.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, and she's channeled all that grief into this really bitter, displaced resentment towards her mother, Fran. Why? Because Fran had the audacity to move on and marry a younger guy, a landscaper named Joey, who has tattoos.
So Charley's projecting her grief onto the new stepdad.
Massively. The depth of her anger and, frankly, her control issues become crystal clear during family weekend. She actually forces her mother to leave Joey behind at the hotel, refuses to let him come to the reception, won't spend a second with him.
Yikes. Controlling and grieving. But academically sharp.
Very sharp. Her English teacher, Rode Rivera, immediately recognizes her potential. He apparently dreams of students like Charley, someone with actual intellectual ambition beyond finance. She's this total disruptive outsider, academically superior, but socially incredibly vulnerable. #check4. Entangled faculty and forbidden desires.
Okay, so the students are a mess of secrets and pressures. What about the adults?
Yeah.
The faculty, are they any better?
Spoiler alert? No, not really. The faculty at Tiffin are dealing with their own pretty complex set of professional and emotional crises, often mirroring the same high-stakes compromises the kids are facing.
Great. So who are the key players on the faculty side?
We meet a couple of new teachers. There's Rode Rivera. He's the English teacher, actually a Tiffin alum himself. Published a couple of novels, seemed promising. But now he's kind of dealing with a post-breakup, post-publishing slump reality check. His career stalled. His successful Baker ex-girlfriend, Laysanne, moved on. He's back at Tiffin, maybe feeling a bit like he's retreated.
Okay, Rode.
Yeah.
And who else is new?
Simone Bergeron. She's young, 24. Hired as a history teacher, which is interesting because she actually applies for the French position, her previous job, barista.
So, bit of a leap into this intense conservative prep school world.
A huge leap. And these two new arrivals quickly get entangled in what can only be described as a classic Tiffin love square, where professional boundaries just seem to evaporate completely.
Oh, boy. Okay, break down the square for us.
All right, corner one. Cordelia Spooner, our head of admissions with The Secret Life.
And the fake dead husband.
Right,
Yeah.
and Honey Vandermaid. Honey's the college counselor and also a dorm parent for Classic South Dorm. They are secret lovers.
Secret lovers. Okay, where do they,
They sneak risky, furtive moments together in the chapel basement, which they ironically, darkly call God's basement.
God's basement.
Wow.
Classy. Is it going well?
Not really. Their secret relationship is already under immense strain. Cordelia is getting needier, more paranoid that her whole Mrs. Spooner facade is going to crack, especially with the increased scrutiny from the ranking.
And Honey?
Honey, meanwhile, is feeling suffocated and is developing a growing and professionally very reckless attraction to the new, younger history teacher, Simone.
Oh, okay, so Cordelia and Honey are strained, and Honey likes Simone.
This is messy.
Deeply messy. The irony is just dripping, right?
Yeah.
These adults are maintaining their professional lives through lies, manufactured marital status, secret affairs, while they're supposed to be the moral guides for the students, right? Policing student behavior while sneaking around in the basement. Okay, other side of the square.
Rode Rivera, the English teacher. He is clearly smitten with Simone, totally interested.
And how does he show it? Flowers?
Yeah.
Awkward small talk.
He goes way bigger. He attempts to impress her with this incredibly extravagant, almost absurdly over-the-top off-campus dinner date. He actually gets Haas, the star chef.
The gambler chef.
That's the one. He gets Haas to cater it. We're talking royal Ocetra, caviar, expensive champagne, the works. It feels like Rode is trying way too hard, maybe trying to recapture some of that status he felt he lost.
Trying to woo her with fancy food.
How's it work?
Well, Simone agrees to the date, but she's playing her own strategic game.
How so?
She had this really tense boundary-pushing encounter with Eastman during the first dance event early in the year. He was clearly coming on too strong, using his power. Simone realizes she needs a shield. A public shield.
Ah, so she uses Rhode. Exactly. She strategically accepts Rhode's ridiculously fancy date precisely to establish a public relationship. Create some professional distance, hoping it'll make East finally back off.
Smart move, maybe.
Except here is where it all goes catastrophically wrong. This is the absolute collision point of student privilege and faculty desperation. Despite setting up this public thing with Rhode, Simone finds herself immediately dangerously drawn to East, the manipulative, powerful, rule-breaking Eastman.
Oh, seriously. The stew she was trying to fend off.
Yes. We learn they start having clandestine, completely forbidden encounters. First, down in those dark, creepy brick tunnels that run under the campus connecting the dorms.
Okay, very secret.
And then, even more terrifyingly, in her empty classroom after hours.
In the classroom. That's hugely risky.
Hugely. The sources are pretty explicit. Simone struggles immensely to maintain any kind of boundary. She often fuels these encounters with wine she keeps hidden illegally in her faculty apartment. There's this one incident over the big North Meadow football game weekend. East shows up at her apartment, basically threatens to fail her in history class unless she meets him later for tutoring, which is obviously code.
And she
complies. It's a clear abuse of power by the student, leveraging his influence. But here's the really disturbing part. Simone is self-aware about her own complicity. She notes internally that she was already wearing just a camisole under her blouse, almost subconsciously anticipating his arrival. She recognizes this strong, forbidden desire that she just feels unable to control or resist. The adult is dangerously attracted to the power and transgression that East represents.
This is a disaster waiting to happen.
While the adults are tangled up in their secret dramas, the students are plunged into an institutional nightmare of their own making. Or someone's making.
What now? The
arrival of a new anonymous social media platform. It's called ZipZap, a Tiffin Academy edition.
Oh, no. Anonymous apps are never good news in high school.
Never. This one allows anonymous posts, up-down votes, vicious comments, and it instantly becomes this ruthless engine for cyberbullying and exposing secrets. Total chaos machine.
How does the administration handle it? Audra must be freaking out.
Initially, no. She kind of scoffs at it. Her rival, Worthless from North Meadow, warns her about these apps and pushes for a zero-tolerance policy. But Audrey dismisses him as a nervous Nelly, just overreacting to typical teenage drama.
Bad call.
Huge misstep. Her failure to take it seriously immediately allows ZipZap to take root, fester, and basically plunge Tiffin into the state of paranoia and mutual suspicion.
What kind of secrets are coming out?
Devastating ones, because it targets the institution's biggest hypocrisies and lies. It exposes a senior, Annabelle Tuckerman, for completely fabricating her senior speech about 3 brushes with death. Cordelia's 22-year lie about her dead husband blows her cover completely.
Oh, God, Cordelia.
It reveals another student, Tilly Benbow's, sexting habits. And crucially, it exposes the real reason Chef House Flanders is at Tiffin. It details his exact gambling loss at the Dewberry Club. He parlayed an egg.
Wow. So the app knows everything. How?
That's the million-dollar question. But the atmosphere becomes incredibly toxic. Students like Taylor and even the newcomer Charley immediately start drawing parallels. They see the anonymous accusations, the spreading paranoia, the fear.
And connected to
what they're studying in Rhode Rivera's English class. Arthur Miller's The Crucible, the Salem witch trials. This elite, prestigious campus has basically become a crucible for institutional hysteria.
It's intense as Audra finally act.
Yeah, but defensively, reactively, she demands all students delete the app immediately, threatening anyone who doesn't with the honor board. Which, naturally, leads to a massive student outcry about censorship.
Right, because that always works.
Never. And she starts suspecting, correctly, that the administrator, the person running ZipZap, might actually be an adult, someone on her own payroll.
An inside job.
Looks like it. The later investigation reveals how deep the breach went. The app likely hacked the Academy's Wi-Fi, getting access to browsing history, emails, private texts. They eventually pinpoint one of 3 IP addresses used to upload the dirt to a specific desktop computer on campus.
So the ghost in the machine is internal and technically very savvy.
Highly sophisticated. And while all this is going on, burning down the school's social fabric.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. Eastman is busy executing his own massive, high-risk, completely secret project. He's building a bar.
A bar, like in his dorm room.
Oh, much bigger than that. He converts an old, forgotten Cold War bomb shelter located deep beneath the campus.
You kidding? A bomb shelter speakeasy.
Exactly. It's accessible only through those old brick service tunnels that connect the classic North and South dorms. It's an incredible feat of, engineering and just sheer operational boldness.
How does he even pull that off? Supplies. Keeping it secret.
Well, the logistics require, guess what? The complicity of another compromised adult.
Let me guess. Chef has.
Bingo. East hires Hawes, who is desperate for cash because of those gambling debts. ZipZap just exposed to procure massive quantities of high-end, high-proof alcohol. Cases of vodka, gin, bourbon, tequila, the good stuff.
And Haas agrees to supply alcohol to underage kids.
East pays him thousands of dollars in cash up front as a deposit, promises him a percentage of the sales. Haas, a man already neck-deep in compromises, says yes, but he sets two very specific conditions.
Okay.
1, absolutely no phones allowed inside the bar. Keep it off the grid. 2, absolutely no drugs. And he specifically cites Cinnamon Peter's fatal overdose, Valium, Xanax, Ambien. That's his line.
Wow. So he'll facilitate mass underage drinking and break school rules and possibly laws, but draws the line at pills.
Yeah.
Fascinating moral calculus.
Isn't it? He draws a line, just maybe not where most people would.
So what's the bar like, this priorities?
The result is apparently staggering. East transforms this utilitarian concrete bunker into what the sources call a jazz-age jewel box. He brings in mahogany accents, installs granite countertops, lays down a Persian rug, even hangs an antique Art Deco crystal chandelier.
He renovated a bomb shelter. Yeah. With a chandelier.
Yeah, it becomes this super exclusive, highly secretive, high glamour escape for East's inner circle. Davy, Taylor, Dubs, some others. And that strict no phones rule is key. It ensures zero digital footprint, nothing traceable back to the operation. It's their own hidden world.
Okay, secret affairs, anonymous bullying apps, underground speakeasies. This cannot end well. Something has to break.
And it does. The institutional rot inevitably surfaces, starting with the faculty. The inappropriate relationship between Simone Bergeron and Eastman is exposed.
How? Did someone see them?
Worse, it comes out via voicemail, recorded by East himself, maybe as self-preservation, maybe just sheer cruelty, it's unclear. He forwards it to his dorm parent, a guy named Roy Eunick, who then forwards it straight to Audrey.
What's on the voicemail?
It confirms everything. Simone's advances, explicit mentions of their relationship, even her illegal possession of wine in her faculty room, it's damning.
So Simone is toast.
Immediately dismissed. But watch Audrey's reaction here, because it's a masterclass in institutional deflection.
Okay.
Simone, in her own defense meeting, fights back. She accuses East of using her, of manipulating her, and she tries to expose his speakeasy priorities.
Does Audrey listen? Investigate East.
Nope. Audrey focuses entirely on Simone's failure as the adult, the person in the position of power. She hammers home that Simone was responsible for upholding standards, for reporting impropriety, for pushing back. It completely minimizes East's manipulation, his threats, his own rule-breaking, and potential criminal activity with the bar.
So the responsibility stops firmly with the disposable employee, not the protected golden boy.
Precisely. Ensures the scandal is contained. Sacrifices Simone to protect East and, by extension, Big East's money.
And this must have ripple effects, right, on other faculty.
Immediate, heartbreaking collateral damage. Honey Vandermeed, Cordelia's secret lover, the college counselor who was crushing on Simone.
Yeah.
She sees the writing on the wall. She's already feeling professionally precarious because of ZipZap exposing faculty secrets. Cordelia's getting paranoid. Honey knows Cordelia suspected her crush on Simone. She decides she has to get out. She resigns, leaves Tiffin altogether.
Wow. She recognizes how dangerous the environment is if Simone can be taken down that fast.
Then Honey's own secret life with Cordelia, hidden away in God's basement, could be next. The risk is too high.
Okay, so Simone's gone, Honey's leaving. What about the speakeasy? Simone tried to expose it.
Right. In a fit of rage and maybe desperation after her dismissal, Simone does manage to tip someone off. She tells Rode Rivera about the secret tunnel network leading to priorities.
Rode, the guy she used as a shield.
The very same. Rode is stunned, hurt by Simone's betrayal with East, obviously. He decides to investigate. He teams up with Mr. James, the head of security, and they follow Simone's directions. They find it. The whole elaborate setup, the bar, the booze, everything, the physical evidence is undeniable.
Okay, now East has to face consequences, right? Yeah. They found the illegal bar.
This is where we reach the absolute summit of Tiffin's institutional hypocrisy. Audra goes down to see priorities for herself.
To shut it down, read East the Riot Act.
The sources state she is, reportedly, impressed. Impressed by East's sheer ingenuity and creativity.
She's impressed by the illegal underground bar run by a student.
That's what it says. This isn't a head of school delivering justice. It's a head of school admiring the entrepreneurial spirit, maybe, of her most important donor's son.
Unbelievable. So what does she do?
She gives him this final, almost performative warning, tells him the club is now off limits to students. But her actions, her admiration, they speak volumes. She implicitly, explicitly confirms that his financial importance, Biggie's status, protects him. He's not expelled, which any other student caught doing this would be, instantly.
No consequences. Again.
Worse than no consequences. She actually floats the incredibly cynical idea of maybe repurposing the space, using it for future university functions, essentially legitimizing his criminal enterprise after the fact.
That's just wow. Validating the behavior.
In this moment, this display of blatant institutional protectionism is the final straw for Charley Hicks.
The awkward new girl. Why?
She was involved with East by this point, part of the priorities inner circle. But seeing Audrey basically give East a pass makes her realize instantly what her role really was. She wasn't his partner, his girlfriend in any real sense. She was a shield. She was, in her own words, new and naive and weird as fuck. The perfect cover to make his activities seem less nefarious, maybe even quirky.
So she realizes she was being used.
Completely. And she breaks up with him on the spot, refuses to even look at his texts afterwards. She decides the cost of being close to that kind of protected power is just too high for her. She walks away.
Good for Charley. So how does the semester actually end?
With a strange kind of bittersweet validation for Audrey, the official inquiry into Tiffin's shocking #2 ranking comes back. Conclusion. It was legitimate. No cheating, no data manipulation found. It cements her victory over Worthless, her rival.
So she won, technically.
Technically. But she notes, quite wearily, that the absence of corruption is never really considered newsworthy. She feels exhausted, defeated. She actually finds herself wishing for the relative calm before the ranking, before Haz's gambling, before Simone and East, before ZipZap blew everything up.
Be careful what you wish for, right? The success brought more problems than it solved.
Absolutely. But even in this moment of supposed reflection, she fails one last ethical test. It's late. She's covering duty in Simone's now empty faculty apartment building. She looks out the window and sees Eastman. Down below, outside Charley's dorm window, he's being theatrical, throwing white roses up at her window, making these grand romantic gestures, blatantly breaking curfew and probably several other rules.
And Audrey.
Audrey sees it all, and she chooses, consciously, to ignore it. She resigns herself to the situation, thinking of them as Tiffin's Romeo and Juliet, stuck under her care until East finally graduates the following year. She strategically looks the other way, one last time. The school's reputation, its financial stability, prioritized over actual rules, actual integrity. #tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so we've charted this incredibly complex, almost dizzying social map of Tiffin Academy. We've seen the intense academic pressure, the deep, unprocessed grief from Simone Peters' death.
And the constant, almost casual ethical compromises made by nearly everyone in a position of power. Audrey, Haz the chef, Simone the teacher, even Cordelia with her fabricated life. It's pervasive.
Yeah, the defining tension of Tiffin, it really isn't just its prestige, is it? It's this constant grinding conflict between that shiny, high-visibility success, the #2 ranking, the beautiful campus,
and the pervasive, suffocating secrecy that just permeates every corner. From ZipZap's digital poison pen to the hidden tunnels, the secret lovers in God's basement, and East's underground jazz-age jewel box priorities, it's all built on secrets.
And as this tumultuous first semester closes, critical mysteries are still hanging in the air. That ghost in the machine, the ZipZap administrator who was smart enough to hack the school's servers, still unidentified. Could be anyone.
And Dub Austin, he's still walking around campus every day carrying that digital time bomb. Simone Peters' sealed graduation email, whatever revelation she wanted to share, whatever truth she needed known, it's still locked away, waiting.
Which brings us, I think, to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. Consider Audrey Robinson, the head of school. She consciously, repeatedly, chose to overlook blatant, serious rule-breaking. East Speakeasy, the massive underage alcohol procurement involving Haz, even just him breaking curfew to throw roses.
She chose to ignore it, or minimize it, or even admire the ingenuity behind it, all to protect the institution's funding stream and its precious reputation.
So the deep dive really raises this question. At an institution like Tiffin, a place where reputation and financial stability seem utterly dependent on accommodating powerful, wealthy individuals like Big East, Is integrity actually less valuable to the school's overall success than the calculated ability to strategically ignore the truth?
Something to think about. What gets prioritized when the pressure is really on?